So for an introduction, this is a story we wrote when we were 14, and we thought it'd be fun to read it out loud for a podfic. This will also be the first time we are rereading it. I have not looked at it, so let's see how this goes. Infinity by Briar A. Ceronics. Viktor awoke from a horrible nightmare. In his dream, there was a young ginger boy, and he took him to the castle. What was he thinking? His parents would never let him bring a peasant into the castle. His family always ridiculed him for his differences, but it felt different in this dream, like they were teasing. The same type of teasing his brother performs when he stares at a girl for too long. "Ah, that's it!" Viktor accidentally yelled out loud. "I saw the boy at the market yesterday," he thought to himself. Viktor likes to sneak out of the town and enjoy life as a normal, not responsible child from time to time. And last night, Viktor saw the most beautiful boy he had ever seen. The boy was ginger with freckles all across his face. He had been eating some ice cream from Viktor's favorite candy shop. Viktor liked the ice cream there because it was salty. Now Viktor wanted ice cream. Viktor then began to wonder if the boy would be there too. Viktor decided he needed to look his absolute best to meet the boy of his dreams. Usually Viktor does his own self-care, which is none, but today he decided to let the maid do his hair. "Young master, I have never seen hair so unkempt. How does your mother let this happen?" "Mother figures I will grow out of it and start to take care of myself. She says teenagers do not care enough, but I do not think I ever did." "She is right, sir. You will learn to grow up and take care of yourself. You will stop sneaking out of the house and maybe even stop yelling in my ear." Viktor did not realize he was yelling again. Viktor has the habit of yelling when excited, and he always gets yelled at back. But the adults mean to yell, and are in fact just that, mean. Viktor just stays quiet and does not dare utter another word as the maid cleans his greasy black hair. Viktor realizes the mistake he made after it had been an hour of grooming with barely any progress. Why put all this work into your appearance when it would all be ruined by the wind or bedhead? Despite his annoyance, his hair is finished after another hour, and it in fact looks like, well, hair. What a waste of time. Viktor heads downstairs only to find his mother waiting, tapping her foot. "Are you ready to go train with your father?" she asks. Viktor stands still for what feels like 10 minutes. He doesn't train on Sundays. No one does. And then it hits him like a wooden sword to the face. It is Saturday. "I am sorry, Mother. I will go now," Viktor says as he rushes across the castle. Great, now my hair will be ruined and sweaty, he thinks. After Viktor's long training session, it is already time for dinner. Viktor hates how short his days feel. He sleeps in until 1 p.m. because he cannot sleep at night. His parents absolutely hate this fact, but allow it as Viktor tends to stare into space more than usual when tired. And then training lasts for 7 whole hours. It is torture. I will probably never even see combat. I am a prince, he thinks to himself. Or did he? Much to Viktor's dislike, he was thinking out loud. Again. Father was not happy about what he was hearing and sent Viktor to his room immediately without dinner. Any other day this would piss Viktor off, but today he wanted a dinner of iced cream anyway. Viktor had a system to sneak out, bundle up all his least favorite clothes to make a rope. The rope was very long as Viktor's mother almost never buys baggy clothes. Viktor made it down the window with ease and ran for the town's candy shop. Sure enough, the ginger boy was there. Viktor stared. He didn't know what to do. Should he say hello? No, he should just leave. This was dumb. As if the boy could hear his thoughts, he walked up to Viktor. "Hey, I'm Axel." The boy's name was Axel. "Good to know," said Viktor awkwardly. "So, what's your name?" "Oh, yes, of course. How could I be so dumb to forget to tell him my name?" Viktor panics. He looks back at Axel and figures he should probably answer. "My name is Viktor." "Huh, like the prince?" Axel snickers. "Yes, actually." Axel stares for a bit, and then it hits him. "Shit, you're not kidding." "Why would I be?" "Hey, can I come to the castle, pretty please? You can have my ice cream." Viktor looks down at the half-melted blue ice cream covered in saliva and passes. I do not want the ice cream, but you can come to the castle." "Ah, sweet, man!" The boys make it to the castle. Viktor is so excited to show Axel the entire castle that he does not bother to sneak back in. He just goes through the front door. It worked for his brother Oliver and his soon-to-be bride, so why not him? The guards let the boys in with questionable looks. Axel keeps shaking. Maybe he's excited? At the door are Viktor's parents. They seem to be in absolute shock. "What is this?" Viktor's mom yells. She pulls Viktor by the ear and into the castle. His father signals the guards to shut the door, and they do, leaving poor Axel all alone. "You cannot bring random peasants into the castle, Viktor!" his dad exclaims sternly. "Why not? Oliver did it with Persephone," Viktor asks genuinely. "Do not sass your father, young man," his mother chimes in. "But I do not understand the issue, Mother." His mother sighs. The situation with their brother was different. He loves that girl. She makes him feel happy. Axel makes me feel happy. That is different, honey. Persephone is a girl. Why does that matter? Because why? That's it. Go to your room now. Victor's dad screams at the top of his lungs. Viktor runs to his room immediately. A month passes and Viktor is still thinking about Axel. And this month, Viktor never found out why loving a boy is bad, just that it is. Not only is it bad, it is punishable by death or worse. What is worse than death? Viktor wonders. His pondering is interrupted by his mother telling him it is time to get ready. The only reason Viktor found out the punishment for loving a boy is death was because that is the only thing his parents would bring up anymore. Anytime Viktor started to say the word Axel, his parents would remind him. But telling him never worked, so his parents figured showing him would work. Today a man was to be publicly executed on Main Street for a type of crime known as crimes against nature. Viktor and his family made it to Main Street in their horse buggy. The horses were not even running. They could have walked faster. Regardless, Viktor's family arrived at the scene. In the center of Main Street was an executioner standing near a wooden device meant for hanging criminals. The said criminal was standing on a stool with a rope wrapped around his neck. "Viktor, you are nearly 16. We want you to execute the execution." Funny wording, right? Said his father. This left Viktor horrified. How could he kill someone, especially someone whose crimes he didn't even understand? The man did not seem like a criminal at all. Viktor's father handed him his sword. "Don't worry, the sword is just for show, to prove I actually do train you. All you have to do is kick the stool from under the scum." Viktor reluctantly takes the sword from his father and walks up to the man. Viktor's father follows closely behind. His father starts to read and list the man's crimes, and just as Viktor thought previously, no crimes were really committed. The man had a lover, another man. His lover was beaten to death when the police found the two kissing. This man, who Viktor just learned was named William, was captured and put to death today by the request of the king, Viktor's father. "Prince Viktor, you may do the honors," announced the king. Viktor froze. He could not move. So many thoughts were racing through his head. And then in the corner of his eye, he saw Axel in the crowd. He saw how fearful Axel was and decided he could not go through with the execution. Instead, Viktor took his sword and cut the rope, freeing William. William took the opportunity and ran far, far away from the scene. While the crowd was still in shock, Viktor ran and grabbed Axel and brought him to the execution area so all could see. Viktor turns to Axel. "Axel, when I look at you, I feel as how my brother describes looking at his fiancée. I feel warm and cozy. These are odd feelings I do not understand yet, but I do not get why they are to be demonized. They make me happy, and shouldn't that be all that matters?" For a small second, Viktor can see a smile form on Axel's face that is quickly turned into fear that Viktor has never seen before. The crowd starts to chant angrily. Viktor cannot make out all the words, but hears many claims of Satan and demons. "That is quite enough," Viktor's father chimes in. "As you all may know, my son is different and confused. We will teach him the proper ways and explain his mistake here today so it never happens again." The king makes a hand gesture and the guards act accordingly. Viktor recognizes the gesture from his lessons. It means capture. The guards grab Axel and throw him into a nearby carriage, which was most likely used to transport William here in the first place. Viktor's mother runs to Viktor and pulls him away by force into their own carriage. Viktor can hear the fading sound of Axel's mother's tears and screams. After a quiet carriage ride back to the castle, Viktor is locked in his room to think about what he has done. The words of the crowd ring in his head all afternoon. Demon, sinner, and mainly one singular phrase, spawn of Satan. Axel will most likely be put to death like William, and there was nothing Viktor could do about it. But Satan, a being of pure power, could. If the people already think of Viktor as nothing more than a follower of Satan, then why not prove them right? Luckily, or more accurately, smartly, Viktor has a key to his room hidden in his pillowcase. Viktor hates the idea of being crammed in a small room against his will, so he stole a key. Viktor makes it to the castle library. He remembers asking what the gray, closed-off bookshelves consisted of. His father had answered, books on witchcraft and all things evil. Nothing you should ever mess with. You understand? Viktor figured this was the perfect section to mess with today. Viktor felt a calling to the red leather sealed book on the forbidden gray shelf. On the cover of the book was a black circle with a 5-pointed red star painted in the middle. Viktor opened the book and began reading. The book explained things Viktor already knew. Satan, or Lucifer, was banished to hell for questioning God's demands. Except this book had worded the story differently. This version of the story was spun to show Lucifer's frustration with his father's laws. Lucifer wanted to bend laws where he deemed made sense, but his father did not allow it. And this confused and angered Lucifer. After one too many angry outbursts, God banished Satan to hell for all eternity. Reading this story made Viktor sympathize with the devil of all people. Both were young princes trying to understand and help their fathers govern, but were cast out for having different ideals. Both just wanted to understand their father's thought process, but were considered rude and mocking. Viktor was snapped out of his thoughts when he turned the page. He found the thing he really wanted, a step-by-step guide on how to summon Satan, just the way Viktor likes it. Instructions and nothing else. Easy to understand. Viktor easily performs the ritual to near perfection. Almost instantly, the book starts to shudder. It closes violently, and the symbol, which Viktor learned is called a pentacle, starts to go bright and red. Who dares summon me? A loud, disembodied voice erupts. The voice is not disembodied for long, as a giant red-horned figure erupts from the pentacle. The figure that emerges looks almost human, but with red skin and with hooves of a goat and horns of also a goat. Oh, and wings. Not of a goat. Seeing that the unholy Satan is merely a man, almost, Viktor's walls come crumbling down. He runs up to Lucifer and hugs him and immediately starts crying. Needless to say, Lucifer is confused. Viktor spent the next hour telling Lucifer about today's events. It was awkwardly quiet once he was finished. Call me Samuel. What? Viktor asked, thoroughly confused. My name is Samuel. My father made sure to banish it from all writings as a form of punishment. That's awful. Viktor couldn't imagine not being called by your own name. It would be like someone took a piece of his very identity by force. And someone took yours too, Samuel said. Oh great, he can read minds, Viktor thought. Haha, I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable. My point is that your parents trying to take and kill Axel is very similar. Just like a name makes a person, so do their feelings. Viktor didn't say anything, just nodded. He knew Samuel was right. He was just deeply saddened that he was. Tell you what, kiddo, me and you will go free that Axel kid, okay? Flying beats a carriage in a race by at least 3 times, Viktor decided on the way to the prison. Samuel lets Viktor off his back without saying a word. Samuel walks up to the prison and punches the door. The door immediately gives out and turns into a pile of rubble. Viktor found it odd he didn't see any guards. Viktor didn't see much at all. He remembers the door crumbling and then being in Axel's cell. All that mattered was that Axel was safe. But Axel did not see it that way. He was obviously freaked out by being saved by what he was taught to be evil incarnate. Viktor explained to him what he had read in extensive detail. Samuel chuckled at the boy's storytelling. This seemed to calm Axel down, or so Viktor thought. But then Axel was still worried. They will come back. What is stopping your parents from trying to kill me again? Listen, boys, you had a rough night. How about I fly you back to the castle? You sleep off the excitement, Samuel offered. The castle? That seems like the worst place I could go, Axel yelled a bit too loud. I will keep guard. Don't you worry. Who were Viktor and Axel to argue with the man who obliterated an entire prison door? Well, to Viktor, it was just a prison door. Axel saw it all. Axel watched as Samuel evaporated all the guards. Their screaming filled his ears. But he was free, and Viktor was happy. That's all that mattered. Viktor awoke to the voice of a maid trying to hold back tears. Sir, you must get ready for the coronation. The what? Viktor thought. He must be dreaming. His parents had been in power long before he was born. Besides, Oliver was next in line for the throne. I'll take it from here, Samuel said to the maid. She ran away crying. Your parents realized their mistake. They decided to leave you and Axel as the new kings of the kingdom of Purus. Samuel could not bring himself to tell Viktor the truth. He knew Viktor hated his parents now, but knows all too well that a part of him still loves his parents. Axel eyed Samuel, weird, but said nothing. At the coronation, 3 major things happened. Firstly, Viktor became king. Secondly, he legalized homosexual marriage and all freedoms of expression. And last but certainly not least, Viktor married Axel, which in turn crowned Axel king. This was the happiest day of both their lives. Axel knows what Samuel did. He most likely killed the royal family in the same way he killed the guards at the prison. Axel wanted Viktor to know the truth, just not today. Viktor had already figured this out himself as well. He wanted to tell Axel about what Samuel did, just not today. They had an infinite amount of time to do so, after all. The end. Honestly, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's a good concept, but, nowadays I would probably make it longer, not as fast-paced, but also especially I need to put the exposition at the beginning to be plants instead of just going, oh yeah, Satan's here, by the way. He's pretty chill.